So how in the world do you do a science of everything? Well, let's do what Aristotle did and look at how a specific science works and generalize from there. If we were doing a science of fish, the first thing we'd want to define is what a fish is. What separates fish from other kinds of things? We know that the fish is an animal that lives in water. But we need to be more precise, because living in water would be a necessary condition, but not a sufficient one. Some animals like whales, frogs, and salamanders live in water, but aren't fish. So we need to define exactly what a fish is, and by extension, what it isn't. Once we make that definition that distinguishes a fish from other kinds of animals, then we need to describe different kinds of fish. How many different types are there, and how do we tell them apart? Are some kinds of fish more related to each other than others? This mental work is basic to any science. We have to know, 1, what is the object of our study? What belongs to our field of study and what falls outside of it? If we're studying fish, how do we know that if something is a fish and not another kind of thing? Then 2, once we determine that something is a fish, we need to determine what kind of fish it is. And how do we know? So how would this work for a science of being? We need to get a little more general. We need first to determine if a thing exists. Metaphysics concerns itself with things that exist, not things that don't exist. But once we determine that a thing exists, we need naturally to answer what it is. What sort of thing is it? A computer? A telephone? A book? A banana? A dog? The answer to what a thing is its substance. Substance here is not exactly the stuff that makes something up. Not all things are made up of tangible material. We can think of substance as whatever it is that makes something what it is. So, what makes a dog a dog? It's not exactly the physical material that makes him up. Other animals have fur, 4 legs, and a tail. His substance is that je ne sais quoi that makes him a dog and not another kind of animal. His substance is his dogginess. He shares this dogginess with all other dogs. All dogs are different, but they are all just doggy. But once we determine that an animal is a dog, since he has the required dogginess, what makes my dog different from other dogs? These are his accidental qualities. The color of his fur, the color of his eyes, his weight, his age, whether he's had his shots or not, whether he's male or female, his breed, and so forth. We could add things like where the dog is now, what he's doing. Is he playing frisbee outside? Is he peeing on the image of Ted Cruz? Here, accidental doesn't mean unintentional, like spilled milk. Accidental means non-essential. We can change the accidents of the dog, his hair color, his size, whether he's happy or sad or underwater, and it wouldn't change. It wouldn't change the essence or substance of what he is. He's still a dog. His dogginess exists in itself. The accidental characteristics exist only in the dog. If we take the dog away, we also take away all his accidental characteristics because these exist in the dog. If I have a cute little white dog and I take the dog away, I'm not left with cute, little, and white. I'm left with nothing. That's because these accidents of cute, little, and white don't exist in themselves, but exist only in the dog. That's the difference between substance and accidents. What's neat here is that we can classify all things according to substance, that is, what something is, and accidents, that is, what characteristics does that thing have. Now, we can even go a little further with substance and accidents to classify things. Let's return to the cute little white dog I mentioned before. Here he is. The accidents of cute, little, and white don't allow me to determine a thing is a dog. Lots of things can be cute, little, and white. Lots of things that aren't dogs. But accidental qualities do let me determine this dog from another one. It is the accidents that make a dog unique as an individual. The accidents individuate him. He is the only dog in the world who is cute, little, and white in this particular car seat at this particular time. Still, he does have lots of traits in common with other dogs more generally. If we take the qualities common to all dogs, or dogginess, as a substance, we could also say that we're looking at dogs as a species. Likewise, we could take the qualities common to all cats, or catness as a substance. No, not Katniss from the Hunger Games, catness. And then look at cats as a species. Now we could get a little more general yet, when we choose to compare dogs as a species to cats as a species. We do this, we realize that dogs do share much in common with their feline friends. They both are members of the genus animal. Here, genus is a more general class of things than a species. The genus animal contains all species of animals. It's a very big genus since there are many kinds of animals. But there are, of course, things that fall outside the animal genus, things like plants. But what are the differences between an animal and a plant? Or what would it take to get from an animal to a plant? Well, we'd have to add many things to the animal genus that are outside of that genus to change something to a member of the plant genus. This is a little less crazy than it sounds, since when animals die, they become dirt, which gets taken up into plants, which in turn gets eaten up by animals. You know, the circle of life. Sorry, couldn't resist. So, let's review. A genus is a general class. It consists of many species that share things in common to all members of the genus. Animal could be a genus, so could plant. A species is naturally more specific. It has characteristics that are specific to the kind of things it is. An individual is a member of a species, sharing things common to the species, but accidental qualities all his own. Every individual has a substance that corresponds roughly to the species it belongs to, or the kind of thing that it is. Every individual also has accidents that make it different from all the other members of the species.